Welcome back to Locked On Buffs. I am the host, Kevin Mormon. I cover all things college football over at Athlon Sports. I cover your Colorado Buffaloes here for the Locked On Network, the Locked On Podcast Network, that is. Let's talk about a drop-off at Colorado. I think so many people are iffy about Colorado. Some people are like, there's going to be no drop-off. Some people are like, this team's going to be terrible next year. And I think Joel Klatt had the medium take, and I think he's right on. This is what he had to say. Talent acquisition is the lifeblood of the program, and they've done a nice job acquiring talent. I think that they should be good at quarterback position. What I actually think is the most important, rather than some of these breakout stars that are off the line of scrimmage, is that the line of scrimmage is getting better and better and deeper. And I think you would agree with that, as opposed to like 2 years ago, they had some marquee talent on the outside. The line of scrimmage was really poor, and they tried to play around it, and it was tough. Right, the offensive line was terrible. Quote: he said they got a little bit better last year, and they should be a little bit better on the line of scrimmage this year. And I think that alone should help them overcome some of those losses on the outside. Now, I think Colorado's due for a drop-off. And when I say that, I think a lot of you are going to be like, oh my gosh, are you saying they're going to be bad? No. I'm saying Colorado's it's going to be a drop-off in star power. It's going to be a drop-off in those high-scoring, high-octane games where it's like they're just charging down the field, airing it out all game. Colorado's going to see a drop-off of the Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter era, the Jimmy Horn era, right? The era of I consider Will Shepard an NFL wide receiver, even though he wasn't drafted. But we had 3 NFL wide receivers and an NFL quarterback slinging the rock around. And we played like that, right? That was Colorado's mindset. We have 4, 5, counting Will Shepard, NFL guys, all of which can make plays. And we're just going to outscore everyone. Right, and the defense played a large part last year. They were a lot better than I think most people expected them to be, me included. I wasn't expecting pass rush like that. But it's one of those things where you have to understand it's a changing of the guard, right? Shedeur Sanders is no longer there. Caden Salter is in town. Caden Salter is a dynamic athlete. He has a big arm, but Caden Salter is not Shedeur Sanders, right? Shedeur Sanders is known for keeping plays alive. He's known for being surgical down the field. Caden Salter is known for being a bit of a gunslinger. Right, a bit of a mobile gunslinger who can hurt teams with his legs, right? That opens up a new look in the offense. Travis Hunter is no longer there. Travis Hunter, LeJontay Wester, Will Shepard, Jimmy Horn. Those guys were, specifically Horn, Wester, and Hunter, were after the catch menaces, right? They were guys who you get the ball to them in open space and you let them work. It was as simple as that. Sometimes it was a bubble screen, sometimes a little slant, sometimes a pass in the flat. You just get the ball to them in open space, right? You may have that this year, you may not, right? There's a lot of position battles that need to be settled. Wide receiver, I think, is one of them. You have Joseph Williams, you have Amarion Miller, Draylon Miller, Cam McKell, if he's in the mix there. You have so many guys where Sincere Brown, Quentin Gibson, like there's so many names and stuff. They have a lot to figure out. But either way, it's not the same guys. So there's going to be a drop-off in star power. There's going to be a drop-off in just being like, hey, we're just going to out-talent everybody. But I think it's going to be an uptick in, I don't want to say team chemistry, but like a team continuity, if you will, right? I think that's going to be an uptick in like game plan strategy. I think it's going to be an uptick in play calling strategy in general from the coaches, right? Because I think you're going to have to see a little bit more from Pat Shermer, right? I think you're going to have to see him get a little bit more creative. I think you're going to see a different offensive look, and that's okay, right? But the drop-off overall, I don't think people – like when people think of drop-off, it's like, oh, my gosh, they're going to go from 9-4 to 3-9. It's like, no, that's not going to happen, right? This team's going to be fighting for a bowl game, possibly Big 12 contention, and the drop-off is just simply going to be due to the talent that they lost. But that doesn't mean they won't be as good, right? Coach Prime said it himself. We don't have the stars that we did last year, right? Replacing Travis Hunter, replacing Shedeur Sanders is not easy. But we have better team overall, right? The offensive line, this very well should be. If it's not, then I don't even know what to make of this anymore. The offensive line should be the best one that Coach Prime has had. The defensive line is going to have some dogs, some playmakers. Jaheim Otis, Anquan Barnes. I'm excited to see what Quincy Wiggins does. A lot of guys there. Mari McNeil, Gabriel Lightfoot. A lot of guys in the mix. Secondary, I think it's probably one of the better secondaries in college football, or at least in the Big 12 at the very minimum, right? So what you have to understand is it's a drop-off in style, but not a drop-off in success, if you know what I mean, right? I think it's okay for the team to be different because you have different players, which means you have to do things differently. I mean, that was Robert Livingston's whole thing last year was like he comes in without a playbook and goes, what are we good at? Because obviously running stuff that we're not good at isn't going to help us. So I think Colorado could be really good next year, and I think a lot of people will be surprised. But I think we're overreacting to this notion of like, are they going to be good or are they not going to be good? They're just going to be different. And I think different can still lead to being good. You guys let me know what you think. When we come back, we're going to be talking about the Big 12's approach to the playoff, right? Brett Yormark is pro a change, kind of. Let me explain. Welcome back to Locked On Buffs. Appreciate you guys for tuning in every single day, making me your first listen of the day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast. So do me a favor, hit that like, subscribe, and follow button. Give me 5 stars wherever you listen to your podcast or watch your podcast, so that way we can continue to grow it and continue to have some fun. The college football playoff is bound to change, right? We trotted out a 4-team playoff, which 4 wasn't enough because it was so obvious that teams were going to be left out that didn't deserve to be. And rather than like going to 6 or like 8, it's like, okay, we gotta be dramatic. We gotta go to 12. And it's like, oh, here we go. And then we get to 12, and it's like, okay, we're gonna do automatic bids with bye weeks, and like it was a whole thing. The top 4 seeds all lost. I think there was plenty of debates over which teams deserve to be top 4 seeds anyway, whether it would matter, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, they're going to be changing the playoff format again. 16 teams is likely. They're just trying to figure out how to get everyone on the same page, because they're trying to figure out which model, I won't say is fair because they don't care about fairness, but which model the SEC and Big Ten like the most, and the ones that the Big 12 and ACC are willing to conform the most with, right? So the common one is the 5+1 model, which 5 power champions are awarded automatic bids. So it'd be your group of 4 teams: SEC, Big 10, Big 12, ACC, and then the best G5 team. So Pac-12, Mountain West, American, whatever it is, Conference USA, whatever other conferences are out there that could possibly be in that 5th seed. And the 11 would be automatic bids, right? So, and not all of them, but there'd be a handful of automatic bids, and that's sort of where we're at. So this is what Brett Yormark had to say. 5-11 is fair. He said, we want to earn it on the field. It may not be the best solution for the Big 12, but given your comments about automatic qualifiers, but long term, knowing the progress we're making and the investments we're making, it's the right format for us. He says, I'm doubling down on 5+11. I know ACC Commissioner Jim Phillips will, and I'm sure some of the other conference commissioners will as well. Basically, the format is you get the automatic bid for your conference champion, couple automatic qualifiers for a team here, a couple automatics for certain. Basically, everyone wants automatic qualifiers. The SEC and the Big Ten, excuse me, they want to get 4 automatic bids to each. 4 automatic bids to the Big Ten and SEC, 2 to the ACC and Big 12, and then 1 to the top-ranked Group of 6 conference winner, and remainder to at-large teams, right? So you're basically getting 8 teams from the Big Ten and SEC. You're going to get 10, 11, 12 from the Big 12 ACC, and then 1 Group of 5 team. So it's 13, and then the rest are at-large, right? So it's kind of – I don't love it, because I'm more of the proponent of like, just earn your way in. Like if you deserve 4 teams, you will get 4 teams, especially the SEC. There's kind of that inherent, I don't want to say bias, but bias. And it's just like, I don't know why we have to fight for something that we're not earning, but that seems to be the trend. But for Brett Yormark to be on board with it, I think that's a good sign. I think it shows he's willing to work. And the problem is the Big 12 has to prove that it could win it, right? Until the Big 12 proves that they deserve a seat at the table, they're not going to really get a seat at the table. So that's sort of the problem that they have. But I think the playoff format, I like expanding to 16 teams. I just don't like how they're coming up with 16 teams. But that's been college football lately. It's all these changes with little to no sense making behind them, and that's just life. But at the end of the day, Brett Yormark is approving this change, so we'll see how it unfolds. Either way, I'll keep you guys updated. I'm Kevin Borrell, host of Locked On Buffs. I will see you guys tomorrow. I hope all of you have a great start to your week.